What's up, everybody? Matt Freedman back here at another episode of Backstage Bucks County. Today, we have one of my very, very longtime friends and mayoral candidate for Newtown Borough in Pennsylvania here, Miss Nicole Rodowicz. What's up, Nicole?
Nothing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, tell the world, a little bit about you. You've done a ton of work in nonprofits. You've always kind of put community, specifically Newtown, at the center of everything you do, raising all the boys and doing your thing. So tell us about you a little bit.
Okay, great. So yeah, my name's Nicole Rodowicz. I started out volunteering for the recreation board. So funny story, Matt actually performed for our music.
Yeah, that's right.
For our music in the park. I snookered him into that many years ago. So the recreation board, I was a stay-at-home mom, and my best friend Heather, who is a volunteer of the year, said, Nicole, you have to join rec board. You have to. And I was like, no, too busy, can't do it. Boys are still little. So finally, I think it was like when the twins were out of diapers, she's like, okay, it's time. So I joined the rec board, and we, at that time, were doing basically events. We do some, when you're looking at the parks and seeing tree branches down, that's something we would report. So it was a volunteer position, very loosey-goosey. It did make me really get the bug, though, for the community service, for sure. We ran an event called Arbor Day that you partner with Goodnow Elementary School.
Nice.
And it brings the first and fifth graders to town, and they walk there, which obviously a huge piece of Arbor Day is the environment. So showing these kids that we live in a walkable community, and obviously with their parents' permission, they can get around on their own, have some freedom. So the teachers would walk them to the park, and there was all these different stations, and they explored different environmental, a birdseed station, someone talking about different kinds of wildlife that are in our area. And it was just a really, really awesome event that, again, that got me into the whole spirit of giving back to the community and really seeing kids enjoy the event that you took so much time to put together.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. You've always had there's like an entrepreneurial spirit to you that I feel like too, because you're like running events and helping the community, volunteering, doing all this stuff, running a nonprofit. When do you sleep ever? Or how do you fit all these things into one day?
I think that I am at my best when I'm super busy. I mean, I make sure I work out almost every day. I make sure that I put dinner on the table as much as I can. Those things are so important to me. And in addition to that, the Newtown experience, the nonprofit that you're talking about, that is something that really does come from the heart. So yes, I'm working hard and I'm doing it, but it's also kind of not work because
you love it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Newtown experience, that was kind of the first, you've been running this for a little while. Tell me a little bit more, or tell us a little bit more about that. You explained it to me on the phone when we were catching up.
Yeah.
But
I know, I talk a lot.
Yeah.
So the Newtown experience, it really came out of the pandemic because I still was on Borough Council at that time, and I was doing my best with the businesses to try to come up with ways that they could stay afloat during that time.
Okay.
So unfortunately, at the same time, the Newtown Mercantile was the business group that was helping the businesses out. They actually went defunct during that same exact time, 2020. So we have this tree lighting, right? So we have this tree lighting that has happened in the borough for, so long, over 25 years, and it all of a sudden wasn't going to happen. So
oh wow,
I should say, was on Borough Council, and I basically said, no, we have to make this happen, assuming that it's safe to gather and all that, which by the time this was in 2021.
Yeah.
Point,
okay.
Yeah. So we have the tree lighting, and it really was just a matter of getting at that time it was members from the Rotary, the current Borough Council members that were serving with me at the time, the current mayor at that time, Corky, and then the businesses, because not a lot of people know this, but there's a woman at the Temperance House, a restaurant.
Yeah, sure. Love the Temperance House.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a long time.
Yes. Yeah, you should come back. It's really good. No, it is. They're doing a great job. So Kathleen, that runs the Temperance House, she and her husband, believe it or not, put up all the lights on the tree every year.
No way.
So this, if we would take the whole interview to go through the process of how many people do things during that tree lighting to make it all come together, and it's all volunteers. So
oh wow,
from getting the actual tree that's donated to getting the tree company that goes and gets it for us, to getting Shanahan and Luff that delivers the pedestal for the tree. Like there's just so many people involved.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that it was all kind of like a neighborhood. I had assumed, but that's really cool to hear.
So that's where it all started. And then shortly after, from that volunteer group, the Newtown experience was started. And it's taken 4 years, or what are you at, 2025? Yeah, it's for us too. We are an official 5013. So we are an official nonprofit. And at this point, our goals are to work with the business district, but not ask too much of the business district. So I think what happens to local companies is they're struggling every day trying to make their living. And people, walk in their store like, hey, I'm having this, like, can you donate $20? And the answer for them is always yes. I mean, every single one of them, even though if they might not be able to afford it, they do it. So that spirit, the Newtown experience wants to do things for the businesses and the restaurants that they aren't necessarily putting extra effort into. Not that they're not they're welcome to be part of the Newtown experience, but we're not saying to them like, oh, you have to do this or you have to pay this money in order to be part of our group. It's not a membership group. So we do some beautification on the street. I
noticed a lot of your posts are like, kind of calling out either Pico or whoever else is kind of like just leaving rubble and debris behind and not being cognizant of there's kids and people playing on those streets, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just really frustrating. Not only have we at the Newtown Experience been doing work with banners and flags and so trying to make State Street look really good. So that happens. And then each business is responsible for in front of their store. So they're doing their best, putting out flowers, making sure everything's weeded. But unfortunately, the public utilities over the last few years to say that tearing through the community is, it's really sad. One, for instance, and really the reason why I put my name in to be mayor was Pico had decided to add high gas lines, like new gas lines to State Street. And the notice that was given to the businesses was ridiculous. So they found out in March.
What do you mean, like just gave no notice or just kind of said like, hey, tomorrow we're coming in and we're going to blow the street up?
It wasn't tomorrow, but it was like from March to the end of June. And what people don't understand is when a small business is ordering their inventory for the summer, which is already a slower time for them, if they had that information, a year in advance, they could maybe pull back their inventory a little bit.
Yeah, or could plan for it, at least so.
Right. So
that's so frustrating.
Right. So because of my work with the Newtown Experience and being close with some of the business owners, that's really what, because I did the write-in for mayor very last minute. So that's really kind of what pushed me to say, you know what, someone needs to be a voice for our downtown district, because I think, my opinion is that the downtown district is what's going to keep our property values up. And the minute that downtown isn't vibrant, why would anyone want to live in a town where there's nowhere to shop or eat?
Yeah, no, for sure.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, no, I agree. And you're not only an advocate, but you guys live in town. You've raised a family there.
Right.
You know, like schools, sports, everything revolves around that community.
Yes.
So it's good to have people like you actually like raising their hand and be like, you know what, guys, this sucks. I'm just going to step up and get it done. And I'll be the voice. I'll go fight, fight all whatever's happening.
Well, and it's no offense to the current council and the current mayor. Everyone's bandwidth is different.
Sure. That makes sense.
I have no idea if, do they have a dog that they're like, I have my Cora that I walk every day, so.
Yeah.
And I've got a camera that I walk around with, which is my iPhone. So, I mean, I just don't think it's fair for someone like me to take that picture and, put it on social media and be like, well, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
I think it's better if you see a problem, then maybe you can come up with a solution.
Just try to. What an amazing thought that you could actually use your own brain and your own resources to solve a problem for the rest of others, right?
Right.
No, it's cool. I mean, your path is, to me, like having known you for a long time, you kind of saw you taking these steps with the nonprofit, town council. And then to me, it was always like, well, why isn't Nicole mayor? It was just like, yet. Right. You just weren't there yet. Mm-hmm. So what's that transition been like, mindset, resources, like community wise, now that you're officially running?
Right.
What's that been like?
I'm being really honest. I don't want it to be that different.
Yeah.
I'm not like, yes, a little bit of its ego, of course. Does everyone strive to have a higher title at their job? Absolutely.
Sure.
Obvious, but this is a situation where I would like to be the mayor that's like working. Like, I don't want to be at the Arbor Day announcing the winners of a contest that I had nothing to do with any of the 1,000 steps that it took to get there at the end of it. And even when I did that transition from Recreation Board to Borough Council, I still chaired the Arbor Day celebration and it wasn't about control. It was just the way that the timing worked. My Heather that made me get involved in everything.
My Heather, I love that.
She had moved on, in her life, and it was a brand new group of women that, now fast forward 4 years later, they have the kid right out of diapers, and I was able to convince them to join the group. And I didn't feel comfortable with leaving them before they knew how to, make everything work successfully.
Right. Well, you've been a great example of it. Like you said, I remember playing the music in the park thing. This is probably 10 years ago at this point. Probably. So you've seen every different aspect of, it's not like you're sitting up in your ivory tower as mayor. It's like, this is just stuff you're doing anyway. Right. So why wouldn't you just naturally take that next step? Right.
And I do understand that the dynamic of the borough, the dynamic of voting, borough council members, they have the vote, and then basically the mayor's the tiebreaker. So I don't have the decision making on the daily basis, but I think I know why I'm doing this is to have a true voice.
Yeah.
I have a report that I'm allowed to give, once a month, actually twice a month, once at a work session if I need to, and then once at the regular council meeting, that if there's something that I do think that is being, either put aside, ignored, like a lot of times, especially with the PICO situation that just happened, it was kind of like, what are you going to do? It's a public utility. And I understand that, and I respect PICO. We need electricity, but there has to be some sort of communication when you feel like you're getting, a little taken advantage of.
Yeah, of course.
We have in Newtown Borough a HARB, a historic association, historical review board. Sorry, and they have standards that they set for each of our houses, which is wonderful, right? Because that means that your neighbor can't put in vinyl windows if you have historic wood windows.
Right.
Like, that's the reason we live where we live.
Yep.
So we have to jump through hoops anytime we want to do something to our house, yet there's utility poles laying, in front of properties for months, killing the grass. And, they put a new pole in and they're not putting the historic bricks back the way that they should be. And instead they're, filling it in with like asphalt. It's just,
it's a double standard. And it seems like it's not fair because you guys, living in Newtown and having grown up adjacent in Holland, Newtown, is like this gem that a lot of people are maybe starting to kind of recognize like on a national scale, which is cool.
Sure.
But having grown up there, it was always like you felt different crossing over that border, at least coming from Holland.
Yeah, sure.
And the streets were always nice. There's always really nice shops, and it's not cheap to go out to dinner or to shop there in a lot of the places.
Right.
So, to maintain that and keep that up, and to your point, the property values, selfishly, it's bigger than you, and I know that you're obviously one of them, but that community is kind of relying on that voice to hold that standard high.
Right. And we have visitors all the time. We have our own police force, and the reason we do is, sure, we might only have 2,800 residents, but on any given weekend, they're looking at, 14,000, especially
Is that right?
Well, when you bring in events.
Yeah.
Like, this weekend, we have the porch stock event. We have no idea how many people are going to come to town.
Really?
So, yeah, we're kind of like, we don't know. It could be.
Is Matt Dorsey playing on his porch?
He is playing on his porch.
Is he really?
Yes,
Oh,
he
so
is.
you're going to have 1 million people there in the borough just to hear him play. Shout out Matt Dorsey, by the way. I love you, buddy.
Yeah, if they're lucky enough to hear him sing, yeah. Again, we just had a fall fest last weekend. There was a lot of people there, and it's one of those things that between the shops, the restaurants, and the events, we are consistently having, I want to say tourists, but people that don't necessarily live inside the borough, but we need to keep them safe. And I think that's really important.
That's awesome. No, it's a good way to frame it. So I want to get your perspective. Like on the show, we're always trying to just kind of spotlight and tell the story of cool people in Bucks County doing things that aren't like necessarily the straight and narrow.
Right.
Kind of like us being weirdos playing music and doing all this stuff. But I want to get your take because you are Newtown to me. Like, there's so much that there's so many relationships you have. Give me like the perfect day in Newtown Borough. What are you, with the kids, with you and your husband, just with friends? Take me through. Like I'm waking up at X time, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing the whole thing. Like perfect day in Newtown. What are you doing? All
right. Well, I'm going to have a lot of shout outs here.
Please do. Yeah.
So I'm lucky enough that I actually can walk to my gym. And actually, it's called Studio Lit, and they are moving onto State Street, which means that my walk is going to get even shorter.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, so I wake up early, go to the gym, even on the weekends, typically. But then Bob and I do like to try to get Cora on like a long walk because, during the week, she's only 16 pounds, but during the week, that's a little difficult to fit in all the time. So yeah, long walk. Because I have boys, I don't know, maybe it's not, but we typically have a lot of sports. My kids aren't into the arts or music or anything. So normally that will involve a lacrosse field, in the morning. I'm actually just kind of going through last Saturday because I was trying to.
That's a perfect example, yeah.
No, really. My day was so full and it was awesome. So long walk with Cora, go over to the lacrosse games, which, by the way, of course, I'm collecting the check because the boosters, like I volunteer for that.
Shocker.
Also.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm, making sure that the treasurer piece for the boosters is taken care of. No, so we, go to the lacrosse fields, come home. We love to walk to town to go out to eat. I don't know why. Like just to be able to like walk out of your house and just walk down the street and go to Isaac Newton's.
Yep. Love Isaac Newton's.
Yeah, is something really great. Last week though, we actually there's a new person on our street. It's called Kenny's Meals, and they do high protein meals that you just like kind of like warm up. So
cool.
So that's new to our street. So we were being good last week because we knew we were going to Fall Fest. So we knew we were going to hit a food truck up probably. So we got the Kenny's meals and for us and I think 2 of the kids, and just ate that, warmed that up, nice healthy meal.
Nice.
Then went to Fall Fest that afternoon. It was at Linton Memorial Park. It was hosted by the Newtown Borough Recreation Board. So the women that I had trained, I hate to say this, I hope they don't, to do Arbor Day are now still on the Recreation Board and doing fantastic things. The Fall Fest is actually the music in the park ended up dying off.
Oh, no. I hope it wasn't because of us. Were we that bad?
It went on years after. Pandemic.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Yep.
And then one of the good things that came out of the pandemic was the outside spaces and music outside. And what happened is now breweries all do their music outside, and you can actually bring your kids and have a drink. Mm-hmm. So because we're on borough property, they actually did just change the ordinance, which was very good, to that you can have an event now. And so at the Fall Fest, Second Sin, who's on our street, we have a brewery, Second Sin on State Street. They were able to come and you could get a beer. So that's changed. But we noticed that for music in the park, people were leaving before the last acts because it was either their kids were too little and it was time
it got dark and then
it would get dark and it's time to go to bed, and then it's also I don't know. So it has now morphed into this Fall Fest, which starts earlier in the day, isn't as music focused, although they did have a DJ, and it really was an awesome event. And they had a donut eating contest for the
nice.
kids.
Oh, cool.
And that park is it's a nice park. It's shaded, so even though it was a hot day, everything worked out. And then after Fall Fest, I real quick had to actually get dressed for a gala that took place at the Stocking Works. So one of my board members for the Newtown Experience, her name is Ashara Shapiro. She runs an art gallery on our street.
I think you were telling me about her when we caught up on the phone. Yeah,
she is fantastic, and she was having a gala. So Bob and I ran home, put on our fancy clothes, tried to do my hair as best as I could, and then headed off to the gala. So
man, that is a good full day in Newtown.
It was a really great day. But with the art studio, we are so lucky, and one of the reasons why Ashara joined our board is on one end of the road, or one end of State Street, we have her art studio, which is really growing and really bringing so much culture to our town. And then on the other end of the street, we have the Newtown Movie Theater.
Yeah, of course.
And that has so many fantastic shows. You can still just see movies too, but one of our board members, Andy Smith, has really turned that venue into a place for everyone. It's
been an amazing transformation. I remember a couple of years back. So do you know Pete Hall?
Yes. Peter.
So Pete, I think, is still involved with the theater to a degree, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I was over at Pete's place.
He just got snookered into being on the board, but.
Oh, really? Oh, good. He needs more on his plate. I remember being at Pete's place with Matt, and we were writing or recording music or doing something, and Pete started talking, and this is probably 7 or 8 years ago. He started talking about all his vision for what the Newtown Theater was going to become, how they were going to revamp it and do, bathroom renovations all the way through, the acoustics in the room and speakers and the stage and everything else. And I think right after a lot of the renovations were finished, I think Matt Dorsey had played there.
Mm-hmm, he did.
And we went over to go see him, and I was floored with just the experience of it, because it's this old, amazing, historic building. And a lot of times, if you go to those types of places to either perform or to, just as a fan, the acoustics are off and the seats are uncomfortable. And it was cozy. It was cohesive. The sound was amazing. And we just had a great night out. So
Andy Smith has done so much work, not only to be aesthetically pleasing, like you're mentioning, but also the sound, the projectors, all of it. And a lot of that does come from the generosity, again, of Newtown Borough, because they're a nonprofit. So that funding came through the events that Andy runs during the year. The biggest one being the black and white dinner that actually got rained out this year. But and that's a beautiful experience where you have a table down the middle of the road, and everyone, you can order food or you can bring your own food, and just kind of sit outside when the sun goes down.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, you light sparklers. It's
Is that on State Street?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When is that?
So it was planned for the first, whatever the weekend is after Labor Day. That's when it'll be. But unfortunately it did get rained out this year. There isn't a rain date, so it'll be again next year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that Newtown was doing all these things.
Yeah.
This is
we do have a lot going
here
on. And that's why our police and safety are so important. People don't understand how them taking the time to, first of all, be there during those events, but also the Barrows ran where we don't actually have like a maintenance department, so it's outsourced. So Scott's all season. He is in charge of, let's say, like you need barriers. If there's like a huge, pothole that needs to be immediately fixed, he does it all. So these little moving parts in the Barrow are so important.
Yeah.
And, part of why, I want to be mayor is I want to make sure everything's kind of well oiled and everyone's happy and nobody's, there's enough communication that when there's a problem that people feel comfortable being like, listen, this is an issue and, we need to come up with a solution.
Yeah.
So there's so many moving parts to all those events, police, fire, the public works, and then obviously whoever's running it, all the hard work they're doing. And then community members that are willing participants,
Yeah.
They're willing to pay that, ticket fee to spend a night on the street with their neighbors.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's really special.
Yeah. Well, when you're the curator of all that, from the position that you're in, you are a resident, you're so well connected, you have a million relationships. Does it feel like you're just kind of the shepherd of like the town to a degree?
Well, I was saying, no matter what happens in this election, they're stuck with me. Yeah. So, whether or not I get to like have the ego boost of the title, yes, I will always, as long as I live in Newtown Borough, I will always be part of that, sewing that fabric together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. Is it weird for you being so community centric, nonprofit, volunteer? That's like in your DNA. It's just who you are. Does it feel weird to you to like make the jump to have potentially the label of like politician, knowing that it is a political thing being a mayor?
Yes. I am hoping that in our town, our small town, that we'll be able to separate that.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that people will vote for the person and not the political party.
I love that. Yeah.
Who knows though? I mean, the way that the national environment is and how divided everything is, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. But like I said, no matter what, I still care about the weeds when I walk down the street, and I still care about, whether or not our businesses are happy and being supported. So I still will, in some capacity, try to help out that way. I don't know if I answered your question. I'm sorry.
No. That was really it, because it's you've done so much out of goodwill and just being a citizen and, just someone that lives in the neighborhood. You've built a million relationships, I'm sure. It's kind of interesting because you're the only technically like mayor or politician, like out of our big group of relationships and friends.
Right.
It's just fascinating to hear, like, how do you, knowing you're going to make that transition if it were to happen and you were to be elected, like you'd be the only elected official that I know of,
right.
like, to this degree. It's just a wild thing to think about.
It is. But I think that my since I was in high school, like I was always in student government, and I really do enjoy seeing kind of like the fruits of your labor. Like how many things, I mean, I guess you get it as a musician, right? You work on each word to the song and then it all kind of comes together. So I feel that way when it comes to, you know, community events or even just someone being successful. And of course, I didn't do all the hard work that they did to get there, but at least they had, you know, support, you know, from me. And my goal is to make sure that our borough supports all of our businesses and restaurants, and not to make things easy, because I know we have standards that we're setting, but to make, when someone's coming in with a problem, to try to just really just take a minute and listen, which is,
that's a novel concept, isn't it?
It's hard. And listen, it's hard for me to do sometimes too. I say I have a problem with boundaries, like knowing how to like stretch, you know, don't like stretch myself too much. And then I also sometimes have a problem with letting people have a minute to say how, like that thoughtfulness when someone talks is like, oh, I love when people just like look at you. They're like actually listening to what you're saying, not thinking about what they're going to say back to you.
Yeah.
You know, and I work on that every day of my life.
Yeah. That's it's definitely for, I feel the same way that you do, because I'm to a degree like an over communicator. Like I've always had like ADD, and I just feel like with whether it's music or hosting a talk show, you know, it's, you have to kind of like settle into yourself and just realize, especially if you're in that type of a role, you're going to have people come to you all the time with all their stuff, you know, whether it's grass on a porch or Pico or something with the kids or whatever, you know, like that's a kind of a big responsibility.
It is. And I currently have, I think, 6 different email addresses, because that's the way I try to, all my volunteer, you know, I have my job, my real jobs, which we didn't even talk about. I have a real job too. Right. And then all my volunteer emails. And that is the way that I try to organize myself so that I can make sure I'm getting back to every person that I can. And that really was important to me when I was on Borough Council too. Listen, if anyone is watching this and you live in the borough, you know, if you email me, you're getting a response. If you're not getting a response, you're getting a site visit with me to like look at what's going on. Yeah. So like I said, I want to be like a working mayor that is really just kind of thoughtful to whatever the situation is, you know, is whatever the person's complaining about, to try to see if there's a solution.
That's awesome. So I want to shift a little bit to, you know, the borough probably better than most. Having grown up in Holland, I spent, you know, a good amount of my years going to Council Rock and then kind of like sneaking over to the borough. Never missed class, but current state of the borough from a like date night out, going out, you know, you have amazing restaurants like Rocco's. So give me like the perfect night out for someone that's a tourist, I guess, coming from Doylestown, coming from Pipersville, Richboro, wherever, or even Jersey or New York City. Like you land in town at 3:30, 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Right. Where are you telling them for their first drink, appetizers, meal, dessert? Like walk me through the night out in Newtown.
All right. So first thing I would, before you come to town, I would say follow the Newtown Experience on Instagram and Facebook.
Great shout out. Love it.
If you go on our website, we do have the places to shop and to eat and to get, you know, beverage. So, liquor before beer, never fear. Is that right?
Liquor before beer, you're in the clear. Beer before liquor, never been sicker.
Okay. So my first stop would be at Triple Sun.
Love it.
So Triple Sun is located on State Street. They're currently very focused on handcrafted cocktails that are amazing. They actually have a new manager. His name's Joe, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's actually won, I think he's like won bartending like competitions. So
really?
Yes. So he's gonna make us a nice drink. personally there, I tend to drink I try their gin drinks, and he does something fun. I was there for a baby shower the other day. He did something fun with like lavender, and it was delicious.
Wow. Okay.
So I would go to Triple Sun for a drink. And then right next door to Triple Sun is the Artworked Gallery. So the gallery does have, sometimes they have private events. Sometimes they it's just open, so it would depend on the night. But again, if you check into Artwork's Instagram page, you'll know what's going on that night. But yeah, so I would take a walk around the studio, and then also the gallery. That's right, like I said, that's right on State Street, so they're like right next door. So I'll just like walk you down the street.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So we actually just had a turnover. I don't know what is replacing Relic. That would have been a spot. They just went out of business.
Is that the place right on the corner, across from Starbucks?
Yes. And I did hear. I don't want to talk. I did hear rumors of what it's going to be. The owners of the Borscht Belt. In Newtown, and I think they're doing more of restaurant style something.
Very cool. I remember going there when it was like Dark Horse, or they had it's turned over a few times. Black Horse. Yeah. But the place inside there physically is amazing.
It's very cool.
It's so cool.
It does. Yeah. So if you're doing some shopping on that end of town, there's a pro shop right there. So
is there?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yep. So the pro shop of Newtown is right down that area, and they have athletic wear. They do Viore. They have these amazing I wear it all the time. You probably see it. Like, it's 18940 hats in like all different colors. So I'm a green girl, so I always have everything green.
Go Birds.
Yep. Go Birds. So I would definitely stop in there. Great place to either buy a gift or buy something nice for yourself too. And it's not pro shop name. You can actually get your tennis racket restrung there as well. But it has all sorts of different like clothing.
I'd be broke if I could walk and get Viore clothes. I'd be broke.
I know. And then try having 4 boys and a husband.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very expensive.
Good point.
But that's okay. They deserve it. But yeah, so moving on through, like, going downtown, I would say, obviously the fanciest dinner you can get is at Rocco's, and it's delicious. You can go into the Temperance House, get some really delicious food, good beers on tap. One of the little kind of hidden gems is Cafe Con Leche, and that's a BYOB. Okay. So that would be on this night that I'm envisioning, where Bob and I would stop in. We actually have a liquor store on State Street as well. So even if you forgot your bottle of wine, you could just go down the street a little bit, get a bottle of wine. So Cafe Con Leche has very unique food. It's small, quiet, really good coffee.
Nice.
And then I'm picturing, so that's why I said the liquor before beer. I'm picturing stopping at Second Sin. I don't know. There's a lot of drinks, so maybe not. But
this is your night out, so hey.
Let's pretend. I mean, I would never do this.
Right. Of course.
Second Sin is a brewery that they have. It's not the full brewery. It's a tasting room.
Okay.
Or I guess that's what they call it.
Yeah.
So that's right on State Street as well. And if depending on what time of night it is at this point, they stay open pretty late. So they're usually there until at least 10 o'clock. So, and then I would see what's going on at the movie theater next.
Nice.
And just see if it's sometimes they're sold out months. Sometimes the shows are sold out months in advance. Sometimes it might be a comedy show that, you could literally walk up and buy a ticket. So
that's awesome.
We were very lucky.
There's a lot there. I mean, you got also the kind of newer section that just opened with the Lululemon store and
just that's the township.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. We love the township.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure of the delineation, but
there are so many different options. And to be honest, if you live in the borough, no matter, you can walk to the township too. And we do that often. And actually, I'm also part of I've been the Creek Coalition. I didn't make this happen. But the Creek Coalition just got a grant for a pedestrian bridge that it's $1 million project that will connect the Newtown Borough to the township, so you can safely go through the neighborhood and cross right at Jules.
Oh, very cool.
So
okay.
that's going to be constructed
right by
in the next
Green
2 years.
Parrot, I guess, is right there.
Yeah, you have to go slightly further, but then once you're over there, it's all very pedestrian friendly. Newtown Township just added some crosswalks and the signals, the blinking beaker so people can cross safely.
Gotcha. So that's like where Jules and then where like Harvest and all that kind of stuff is in there. Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah. So it's very walkable for Borough residents, but that is it's just strange that that's Newtown Township and we're the Borough. I think the township says we're the middle of the donut. Like they surround us.
And they surround it.
Yeah.
All right. So your favorite plate of food in Newtown Borough, if you're going out, walk me through breakfast, lunch, or dinner, favorite plate of food. Because I know what my favorite breakfast is, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to see if you can.
Okay. So I absolutely love the lobster salad at Rocco's.
Okay.
I think it is so fresh, so delicious, no matter what time of year it is. I don't know how they do it. The lobster is always fantastic. And the nice thing about it is that's something, even at Rocco's prices, it's more like you could get that for lunch and not feel like, oh my gosh, I just spent,
it's not $50 on a salad.
On a steak or whatever. So I just love that salad. It's awesome.
Awesome. Give me favorite brunch breakfast spot.
So for us, if we're doing breakfast, we do tend to go to Newtown Bagel a lot, which is not in the Borough.
Okay, so you're crossing the border.
That's okay. But on a normal day, let's say a more like where I would meet someone for a business meeting and have, a night, whatever, State Street Kitchen is fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not going to be your fancy brunch, with like a mimosa or something. It's not like that. It's more of a deli atmosphere, but they have a menu that it's literally a handwritten menu that's posted on their Instagram, every Tuesday, because I think they're closed on Mondays.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And every single thing on there is fantastic, and I would definitely highly recommend it.
All right. Sounds good. Is Pat's Colonial Kitchen still there?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Yes.
So that was, I had only been there a handful of times, like growing up, but once I found out about it, I was there in my 20s, like, Seth and like all of our buddies would, anytime we had a weekend that we were home, we were there. Like
my kids will tell you they have, I don't know if they make I was going to say, I don't know if they make their own chocolate milk, but my kids, if we can, have time to like sit down for a family breakfast, the chocolate milk is definitely, and the chocolate chip pancakes. Yeah.
That's so funny. I had dreams about that cornbread and would just go there and like just order a basket and get like a couple eggs and coffee and be like totally set.
Yeah, they're great.
I've never heard of Second Street Kitchen. That's a new one that I want to try. Or State Street, not okay. Second Street. But yeah, that's really cool. Where is that? I'm trying to think where on.
It's mid-block. So if you know where the David Witchel's is, it's right across. Like if you could cross mid-block, which is kind of something I would like for PennDOT to consider adding in town, which
a little crosswalk kind of in the middle, or
yeah. So like I don't know if you've ever been to Stone Harbor, like they there's things you can do. You lose a parking space, so that's always going to be a problem to get the businesses, rightfully so, need their customers need a place to park. It would take a lot because it's a state road, but everyone crosses there anyway.
Yeah.
Like if
there's not a car coming, you're going. Yeah, it's not a very wide street.
It isn't, and because we have parking on both sides, it's usually fine. Yeah. But I just think in general, my real job, I work for TMA Bucks. We're a transportation management association, and we do complete streets projects among other things. And one of the projects I am currently working on, they're considering a mid-block cross because when you observe what people are doing every day, And if you can find a way to make it more safe and to slow people down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our biggest problem. The borough is a bit of a cut through. So whether it's Washington Ave or State Street, sometimes people choose not to use the bypass and instead are
just cut right
zooming
through.
down. And I live on Liberty Street, which is the police station and the fire station are on my street too. So we definitely see our share of speeding. So anything to slow down traffic and make people more aware, like pedestrians are crossing here. I think it's nice and important. And again, aesthetically pleasing. I just think it shows that you're willing to put pedestrians over cars.
Yeah. Well, it's such a walkable town. Like that's the whole purpose.
I think that's why our house values have gone up. I mean, I don't know 100%, but I think that Bob and I were very lucky at a very young age, and it was a little bit of a fight because he wouldn't let me live in Philly. So I was like, well,
Smart
I have
man.
to live somewhere that I can see people. Like I'm a people person. I need to be able to
where the people
walk
are.
out my door and like say hi to at least the postman or someone. So it ended up like that's really why. I mean, our biggest asset we have is our house. It's
Oh, for sure.
And it's because we were lucky, and I feel so bad for my kids that are going to be going. Tyler's 20. He's going to be going out into the world, and the real problem of affordable housing is it's a real problem, and I'm not going to be able to save the world as mayor of Newtown Borough, but
You don't know that.
I do think that, some accommodations can be made. It actually happened on my time in council where the ordinance, the way it was written, you weren't allowed to have you weren't legally allowed to add a new apartment on State Street, like above. They were all kind of grandfathered in.
Gotcha.
And one of our council people, Julia Wardoff, she wrote the ordinance so that now if someone buys one of those buildings, they can add an apartment, like legally, you know what I mean? Like not be grandfathered in, like can make it apartment space, which is, was such a fantastic idea because now the lights are on at nighttime, even when maybe the stores are closed, you still have it more lit up. It just gives into the vibrancy. So on a very small level, allowing maybe a barn to be converted into an apartment where the ordinance, doesn't.
You were never allowed to do that before?
So it depends on where you live and, what part of town. We have all different zones. But depending on where you live, you would have to get a variance for that. So I have a barn in my backyard. If my kids are graduating college and they don't have, literally can't afford, with the way that inflation is to live anywhere, I would look into getting a variance, and I would hope that the zoning hearing board would, take into consideration the housing crisis no problem, that we're having. So, that would be like really micro level on how to fix things.
Hey, you might know somebody who might be able to get that fixed for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so shifting gears a little bit, I have a couple questions that I ask everyone that comes on the show. I usually ask people like your favorite meal anywhere in Bucks County. You kind of gave us the lobster salad at Rocco's. Mm-hmm. I want to shift to your favorite spot in the borough, because I know there's a few of them, for if you and Bob are going out to see live music that night. Because I know there's a few. Yeah. Like Triple Sun sometimes has some live music. The other place, right, it's not on State Street. What's the place that I'm thinking? Really cool bar. What's that?
The Green Parrot?
No. Right across the street from it.
Oh, Sycamore Grill.
Yes, Sycamore Grill. They closed?
Well, they're renovating. They'll be open.
Okay.
And hopefully they still bring the live music because, yes, that Sycamore Grill would have probably been my answer.
Really? Okay.
Only because it has that environment, like it is loud, but you just feel like you're out somewhere. You know what I mean? Like living in the suburbs, like, sometimes you don't feel like you're out. But yeah, I think currently with the changeover of Sycamore Grill, but in the borough and the changeover of Relic, because that was also a place. When it was Black Horse, they used to have the dueling pianos upstairs.
I remember that was awesome.
Oh, it was amazing.
That was so cool. Yeah.
So my go-to spot at this point would be Triple Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they still doing live music a decent bit there?
Yeah, they do. You do have to check their Instagram pages. But I would say at least Fridays, Saturdays. You know,
awesome.
Yeah, they have someone there. So
Very cool.
That's definitely where I would go.
That's awesome. Last question as it pertains to music, just trying to cross things over. If we were to pull up your Spotify right now, who's playing in your headphones right now?
So I like Nico Moon.
Nice. Okay.
He is like, I will tell, well, I do use Apple Music, but like if you put Nico Moon Station like into like Amazon Music, you get the best mix of just like happy songs. It's a little country, but not totally country.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I also love Benson Boone.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I don't know what kind of music either of them are. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of weird, but yeah, they're my two that my kind of like go-tos.
I love it. So when we saw you over the summer at Barefoot, who else did you guys end up staying for the whole show?
Yeah.
You did? Who were some of your favorites that you guys saw that day?
So I think that it's funny. I do enjoy doing the side stages a lot. I really do.
Yep. And thank you for that because we were obviously not main stage.
No, it was awesome. Yeah. I love having that kind of. I mean, I already knew you, but honestly, like pretty much all the performers that are in those side stages are as welcoming as you are. You know, to me. Because they love what they do too.
Yeah.
So they're willing to take a minute and talk. But I think that the one that blew it out of the park for my opinion was Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. He put on. I mean, you know, it's funny in that beach environment. It's different than it's different than a different kinds of theaters because not a lot of the other musicians had as many like it wasn't like as big of a show.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But
yep.
he put on a show and he was really good. And there was a lot of sentimental moments during the concert too that were like, I mean, you know, kind of heartbreaking, but also just like inspiring. So
he's so cool in that regard. Like whether you like his music or not, he pours everything out there. I mean, he is authenticity at its finest, you know, because he's not shying away from his story and his background and what he's done. And like, you know, but he just seems so humble and grateful for the opportunity he's had, and he's owned it. So
yeah, I mean the connection that at least that specific that he had with a little girl that had lost her dad in the audience. Like, I mean, it was a little bit. It went a little higher than music.
Yeah,
it went to like whatever that
little revival level.
That next level is.
Thing.
Yeah.
They're always the best shows. It doesn't matter who you're seeing. Like if they can, one of my favorite artists is a guy named Drake White that a lot of people don't know. But if you go to one of his shows, it doesn't matter if there's 50 people in that room or he's out with Riley Green like he was this year.
Right.
He's taking you to church. And whether you're a religious person, it doesn't matter. He's taking you to that spiritual thing that just takes you past music.
Yeah.
And, it's about the connection that you have with the artists and with the other people that are taking that in.
Yeah. I've never seen Adele, but I've heard that about her too. I've never been, but my friends went, and they're like deadheads, but they went to an Adele concert and they love like Fish and everything. When they were like, oh no, it's like next level.
A whole different thing.
Yeah.
What's the best show in your memory that you've ever seen live music wise?
Oh goodness. So for me, well, I mean, I'm going to be like a little like bragging.
You can say it was us. That's
1996, Pearl Jam, In the Rain. It was like some sort of, in New Jersey, some sort of like football field of sorts.
Huh.
And I mean, when I say we were there, we were in front, 17 years old, and I was like next to Eddie Vedder. So
oh my God, wow.
And that was like the whole like mosh pits, crowd surfing.
It was the 90s, man. All kind of weird stuff.
I don't know if our kids, I guess they do. I mean, I see Tyler's listening to a lot of the DJ music stuff. That seems to get a little nuts. But yeah, so that's crazy. But then my sister and I actually, and this is like a little different, we over the years had a tradition of going to a Zac Brown concert together. Yeah. And for me, that was more about like the tradition with my sister. You know what I mean? Like it was like we made it a point, in our busy lives and work and volunteering and kids and whatever, to just get together with Bob and Kirk and her, and to, like one year we went to Hershey and, stayed over at Hershey. And so I feel like of course the concert was amazing too, but I feel like for me, a lot of times the music, and same with the Barefoot, is more about having the experience like with my kids.
Yeah, sure.
Because they all go. Yep. And so, yeah, I don't know.
I love it. That's a great answer. To see Pearl Jam kind of back in their heyday like that has to be.
It was insane.
That's got to be nuts.
It was.
Yeah, the best, still to this day, the best show I ever saw that I didn't see coming. I was working at a recording studio in New York City as an intern through college. And one of the days, the owner came in, who had owned a bunch of businesses, and he's like, "Hey, I have 2 tickets to go see Justin Timberlake at Madison Square Garden tonight." And I was like, I wasn't even closeted about it. I'm like a freak Justin Timberlake fan. Like if I'm gonna have a movie made about me, I want that guy playing me in the movie.
Amazing.
Well, he's unbelievably talented. Obviously,
yes.
For so many reasons. I just think he's the coolest human on the planet. But so not knowing anything about what that show was going to be like, I took my girlfriend at the time, and we went to the show, and it was the night that they filmed the HBO special for, it was either Suit and Tie or like one of his albums had just come out, but he wanted the full film crew. So they shot like the documentary for him. And this is like 15 years ago, before that was a thing.
Even a thing, right?
And then they put it on HBO so you could go watch it. But the noise that when all the lights went down right before he came out, the noise of 80% women at that point, like just maybe 30 years old.
You're like,
Nicole, I still hear it in my head. Like the noise from women screaming shook the earth that night. And then he came out and like, he played the guitar in a lot of songs. He played the piano by himself. Like he was engaging. He was taking tequila shots. He was telling stories.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, oh my God, like if I'm ever on a path in this industry, that's the thing that just turned everything upside down.
Yeah.
Like that's how you do it.
In life, he's even gone into acting. Like he's clearly like just so talented.
Oh, he's a total stud. Yeah. Like it makes no sense. No one should have that much good looks and talent, whatever. I'm not bitter at all, I swear.
Yeah,
but well, look, we've covered a lot of topics. You have a big day on November 4th, I think, right?
Yep.
Anything else you want to chat about, or just tell the folks, how do they get out and vote? What's the story?
Yeah, I would say if you're not already registered to vote, definitely do that sooner than later. I believe October 29th is the last day to request a mail-in vote. So if you have a trip planned, or maybe if you have a kid that's away at college that is considering voting, you should do that soon. And that's obviously available at the if you put in Bucks County voting information, it'll come right up. And the form to fill out, I actually did on my social media, just like a little tutorial. It's so easy. Tyler had wanted to request a mail-in ballot, so him and I did it together, cool. And we recorded it. So even though he's in Florida, that mail-in ballot will come home, and we'll send it to him so he can hopefully vote for his mom.
You would certainly
if he doesn't vote for me, then I really don't deserve it. So I get it.
Do you have to be a borough resident, or if you're in the township, can you vote for?
No, it's just borough.
Just borough?
Yeah, it's a very, very, very small election.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we wish you a ton of luck. It's so good seeing you.
Thank you so much, Matt. Yeah. I appreciate your time, and you are such a special person.
Oh, and thank you. Likewise.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you next time. Nicole Rodowicz, hopefully future mayor by the next time we stream the episode. So awesome.